I'm Sam,
I'm Cindy.
and we are the Dorvilles. So today, I got a special little topic for us to cover. We're going to be talking about relationship red flags. Have you ever been in a relationship and there've been some red flags?
I wouldn't say I was actually in a relationship with red flags. I would say I was talking to people, and there were red flags, so I avoided going to the next step and entering a relationship.
Yeah. Sometimes when you see red flags for the first time, they could definitely catch you off guard. All right. And the issue with dating sometimes is you don't know the result until you get to the end. And then you're kicking yourself like, why did I even get into this? Or why did this happen?
Yeah, well, I feel especially in this day and age where so much of it is digital and you're starting out with online dating, it's easy for people to create these personas and different perceptions that aren't really reflective of who they truly are. So I'm glad we don't have to date right now.
I'm so glad we're so.
It looks rough out there.
No, it looks rough, and I'm glad that part is done,
yeah,
for sure.
But if you are, here are some relationship red flags.
So people will plan their wedding all the way down to the napkin, to the centerpieces, to the hors d'oeuvres, to the dessert and stuff like that. But then when it comes to their marriage or their relationship, they don't plan anything out.
Well, yeah, I mean, planning ahead for your marriage is just as important as planning ahead for the wedding. You should take a premarital class, whether it's associated with your religion or a faith-based program, or I don't know if there's other ones outside that because we didn't even look. We went to our church, but yeah. You should figure out some sort of premarital class or do some questionnaires or read some books, something that jogs different thoughts in your mind that you probably wouldn't likely discuss, and take the time to really talk to your partner about those things. They're very thought-provoking. You learn a lot.
So here are 7 relationship red flags.
Number 1, your values don't align. The Bible talks about being equally yoked, and that was a big joke when we were dating. Sam would always call me his yoke.
Yeah.
So if you come from different faith backgrounds and you don't have the same beliefs, that's one area that you can encounter a lot of strife. If one person is religious and goes to church and wants their children to be brought up in church, and the other person is an atheist and thinks it's all nonsense, you're going to have a lot of negative interactions discussing that and discussing how to bring up kids. Politics is another one. Obviously, you see what's going on in the world today. It's messy out there. And if, you can't agree on your political views and who you want to support to run the country, that can create a lot of strife, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety.
For sure.
Also, do you want children? Do you not want children? How many children do you want? Are you both going to work? Is the wife going to stay home? I mean, there's so many different things that you need to discuss and figure out what you value as a husband and as a spouse.
Yeah, I would say the values aligning is probably one of the most important areas that I would in any relationship. Me, obviously, I'm an interviewer and I like to dive deep. So I would ask these questions to see are we headed in the right direction? Are we headed in the same direction? So a lot of relationships, people will ignore these facts, and that means you're really not headed in the same direction. So then when it gets more serious and you get more involved, you get your feelings more involved, then now it becomes more of a problem to get away from the relationship.
Yeah, some things in the beginning might seem like no big deal, but then when you bring other family members, in-laws, relatives into the situation who have different viewpoints, or you add children to the situation, you realize all those little things that you were like, oh, it's no big deal, suddenly become big things. So if you talk about them in the beginning, you don't always have to agree, but if you can agree to compromise in different areas, then that will build a successful relationship.
I agree. Point number 2, you don't trust your partner. Dating is often pretty tricky, especially I would say in the beginning, right? You don't know if you're going to really take this person serious, or if what what alley this relationship is going to go. So you might want to keep yourself a little private. You keep your privacy. I would say number one red flag is the phone. I know that thing is it takes time to gain that level of trust with somebody to give them access to your phone. But I would say the sooner that you release your phone and you release any of those other relationships that you may have, the better, right? The better it is for your current relationship to build trust, right? It's not just about your phone. It's about, can you trust this person with your thoughts? Can you trust them with your feelings? Can you trust them with a whole bunch of different things?
Mm-hmm. And I would also say, if you have trust issues from past relationships, you also have to be careful not to put that on a new partner right away. Like, don't be constantly questioning them and pushing and prying about little things that probably are nothing just because you have some insecurities or issues you haven't dealt with. When you're starting a relationship, you want to give your partner the benefit of the doubt and try to trust them until that specific partner shows you that they may not be trustworthy.
Yeah, so past trust issues can almost turn into paranoia. And that's something that happens quite often in relationships as well. So if you have some past trust issues, dive deep into where is the source of that coming from.
If you have to put a recorder in your partner's car to find out
We've seen
who they're talking to, or a GPS to figure out where they're going,
yeah,
it might not be the right partner for you.
I agree.
Number 3, does your partner bring out the best in you, or does your partner bring out the worst in you? If you on a regular basis are finding that your partner gets you worked up, or your partner makes you argumentative when you're otherwise pretty calm and peaceful, that's not the right partner for you. Obviously, you do want a partner who will challenge you and push you to be the best version of yourself. But if you're constantly getting into little arguments and not feeling great, or not getting resolution after you have these arguments, then you want to figure out, if it's something within you that you're having issues with, or if your partner is really just not the right person to bring out the best in you.
We know in a relationship, your partner knows the right/wrong thing to say just to get you there, right? Avoid some of that, right? If this person triggers you, it's probably not going to be the best relationship for you. And I know this is tough to digest, but if they are specifically trying to attack you and trying to get you there, then that's a relationship red flag.
Yeah, and obviously some triggers you may carry from past relationships, so that may be work that you need to do with a therapist or talk to someone to try to get over that. But if they are constantly triggering you, and if they're doing it especially on purpose, then you want to find a different partner.
Point number 4, they have a history of cheating. Now, everyone is allowed to make mistakes. I just by diving into the Bible, you see a lot of instances where people have made mistakes, and God give us grace and give us a chance to redeem ourselves. So, just with that fact alone, everybody deserves grace. But with a cheating history comes cheating behavior. So you have to make sure you pay attention to what were some of those key things that drove them to cheat. Did they really fully own their cheating past, or are they blaming others with that?
Yeah, I mean, if they own it and you can tell they're truly remorseful and you want to make the relationship work, we have seen it happen where you can work through that. Obviously, that goes back to one of our other points about trust issues. That creates massive trust issues, and it takes a lot of work, intentional on both parties' part, to get past that. But if they don't own it and they're saying it's your fault because you're not doing this for me, or you're not fulfilling me, or you're not supporting me emotionally and fulfilling my emotional needs, if they're putting the blame on you for their choices, then you probably won't want to try to work on it with that person.
Point number 5, they don't prioritize you. in any relationship, when you really want to be in a relationship and you really want to be around that person, you'll carve out the time to hang out with that person, right? But if it's pulling teeth, or if they just want to they want to hang out just to sleep with you, then it's probably a relationship red flag. So you got to be very careful on paying attention. Also, you have to be very careful on your expectations, right? They may not naturally be someone that's going to be all over you, or texting you every morning, good morning, or or good night, or something like that. So you have to be patient there as well. But there is a pattern to knowing if someone's prioritizing you or not.
Yeah, if they spend a lot more time hanging out with their boys or their girls instead of hanging out with you, that would be a red flag. If they're doing a lot more work, spending hours in work, when they get home from work, they're doing more work. They're workaholics,
Yeah.
and they're pushing you to the side. They're probably not going to get past that. Once a workaholic, typically always a workaholic.
Yeah.
It's just an innate desire to pursue, excellence in their work environment. But you want someone who will make you feel important. When you need their support, or when you need to talk to them, they're there to listen. They're there to give you their time. That's very important in building a solid relationship. Point number 6, they're easily jealous. Jealousy is hard because it comes, again, from past traumas or insecurities that you may have. And so that's something that you're going to need to work on to get over jealousy in your relationship. But there are certain things, obviously, where it is warranted. But if you find that your partner is constantly jealous, and that jealousy is turning into controlling behaviors, where they're telling you not to look at someone, or you can't go somewhere, or you can't wear that because of how other people may react or treat you, then that's definitely a red flag.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I've dealt with someone saying that you can't have certain types of friends, right? So what happens in a situation like that is, post the relationship, you've kind of annexed all of these, friendships that you've had, and then afterwards you're kind of lost by yourself, right? Because you kind of threw away some of these relationships for your current relationship based on jealousy, and you lost out on some great relationships.
Absolutely. That actually reminds me of one of my friends from high school that I dated for a little while. And we hadn't been dating for a long time at this point, but he met a girl with super jealousy issues.
Oh, yeah.
And it ended up landing him in jail, essentially, because she was so jealous of him that she turned pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And said that he was trying to hurt her, which was not the situation. But you never know how far someone who is jealous can really take the levels of control that they will try to exert to make themselves feel less jealous.
Correct. Point number 7. You don't see a future with this person. And this happens a lot. Where you're in a relationship and you ask them, you ask the person, when you guys getting married, or where do you see you guys going, or do you really even envision a future with this person? For me personally, I've never been in this situation because I've only dated, women that I were really serious about. But I've seen people go from guy to guy to guy, or same thing, girl to girl to girl. And it's like, what are you doing?
Or, oh, we've been dating for 7 years, but there's no next step planned for the future.
Yeah, you have to be really careful with that. Understand, if you have a plan, ultimatums don't work. But getting on the same page on where are we headed, where is this going, knowing where you stand is going to be important to surviving your relationship.
Yeah, just be careful not to start those conversations too early.
Don't do it.
Take the time to really date and really get to know each other. Take the time to have fun, maybe travel a little. Like, keep it light in the beginning. You don't want to start off and right from the bat be like, so what are your intentions? What's going on with this? Where are we going with this?
Yeah, it's important to know as well that the person that you're dating is not necessarily going to be on your timeline. The timeline, the relationship is going to move a certain type of way, and with comfort and love and support and consistency is going to determine, you know, where the relationship is ultimately going to go.
Yeah.
If you like more of our videos, please hit like and subscribe.